Rebel salute, rebel salute, rebel salute. How you guys doing wherever you are? This is Kenya Revolutionary coming to you another live, speaking about what's going on in this world. The topic today, I will be very brief. I'll probably be 20, 15 minutes, 30 minutes max talking about the topic today. Who are the true Black African revolutionaries, freedom fighters? I'm not talking about the fake one, okay? Most of you, especially my South African friends, I was telling you that Madiba, Nelson Mandela was compromised. Nelson Mandela was a puppet. He was a puppet, a satanist. He sold out the Black African struggle, okay? And I'll prove to you, he was a member of the Freemasons, okay? The religion of those satanist imperialists. And I'll prove it to you real quick. I'll play this so you can see what I mean. Nelson Mandela was a sellout. Anyway, if you want to join me and you think I'm wrong, I will invite you. I'll be more than invite you here. So you can join in the chat and tell me if I lost my mind or I'm telling you the truth. Here's the link. Click the link here on the chat. Click the link here to join the studio for a live chat with me, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends and names in the comments. Here it is. So if you want to join and you think I'm saying something silly, here's the chat. Bring it in, bring it in, bring it in, bring it in. I'm telling you, Madiba sold us out. Madiba was a colonial puppet who sold us. And I'm telling you, you know who else is a suspect? Julius Malema is a suspect. Julius Malema, I'm on your case, and I'm digging deep into Julius Malema, because this man had the audacity to come to Kenya and criticize the president of Kenya, regardless of whether our president was a colonial puppet. You don't come to our country and talk nonsense about your host. So, Julius Malema, I am conducting a thorough review of who you are. I want to find out if Julius Malema actually received that money from the Queen of England. Because I mentioned in my past lives, real African revolutionary, Black African revolutionary, okay? Any movement, grassroots, real ones, the leaders are always assassinated or imprisoned, okay? Or they are always the one to kill them. Look at Ibrahim Traore of Burkina Faso. The man has already survived more than 5 coup d'etat assassination attempts on his life, and he's only been in power for 3 months, a little longer than 3 months. But Julius Malema has been talking crap, all that heavy talk, but he's still alive. He still goes to Oxford and makes speeches, okay, and say what he wants to say. He's talking smack about the Queen of England, but nothing happens to him, okay. But now he's suspected. He received money from the Queen of England. I'm about to dig deeper into that. Julius Malema, are you a true revolutionary? I doubt. Let's look at this video by Madiba. Madiba was a satanist. He was member of the Freemasons. Look at this is who most of you people treat with respect and think he's a great son of Africa. No, he's not. Madiba was a disappointment to the African movement. The real revolutionary in that movement in South Africa was people like Chris Hani, who was the head of the Umkhonto Sizwe, okay? Bantu Steve Biko. Those are the real revolutionaries in South Africa, not Madiba. Madiba sold us out. I'll play a video to prove my point. Let me prove it right now, because I know you're asking yourself, is it true? Is it true? Here's a video of Madiba being, elevated in this group of Freemasonry. Let's listen to Madiba. Here's Madiba. Take a look. This is disappointed. I don't even want to look at it. I couldn't believe my eyes. This is South African news.
You have been invested with a special, historic, and happy occasion. It is my privilege to place around your neck the badge of knighthood and to cloak you with the mantle of our order.
Royal Highness, the Grand Prior, Your Royal Highness, the Duchess of London, representatives of the Prior for South Africa of the Order of St. John's, distinguished guests, I am deeply moved by today's ceremony.
When I read his book, The Long Walk to Freedom, he mentioned that he was never a Christian. He never believed in the Christian God. Now it makes sense, because here's evidence. This man was a Freemason, a Satanist who gave up to these imperialists who have been trying to colonize Africa, still colonizing Africa, most of the African nations, through their colonial stooges. This is Mandela. This is Nelson Mandela, Madiba. This is, I can't even have words. This man is a Freemason, okay? He sold his country out, okay? I mentioned that in Africa, most African nations, the true, real revolutionary, look at Ibrahim Traore, okay? Even Thomas Sankara, okay? He never lasted. But look at Thomas Sankara. Thomas Sankara was advocating for a total control of resources in their country. Madiba, before he became president, they agreed that they shall dismantle their nuclear program, okay? And agreed that South Africa, him, when he becomes president, they shall maintain the interest of the Western colonial puppets, the big corporations, the mining companies that were mining gold, silver in South Africa, and copper, were to be maintained, okay? Why did Madiba agree to this? Now it makes sense. You see, the man has been a Freemason all along, a sellout, a disgrace to their human race. Now, Julius Malema, you have to answer. You're next. I've been looking deep into you, Julius Malema. It is said you received money from the Queen of England. And I've always asked myself, why has Julius Malema survived all this time? He's been talking that heavy talk, but nobody has arrested him. He's not facing the same challenges as Ibrahim Traore. You saw Ibrahim Traore, when he took power, immediately he took control of the minerals, the uranium, the gold, okay? He said that, no, the French will no longer have control of that. And guess what? Ibrahim Traore has survived 5 assassination attempts in 5 months, in 3 months alone, okay? A true revolutionary always faces this kind of challenges. But Julius Malema is walking around talking smack, talking the big talk, but he's suspected of receiving money from the Queen of England, okay? Julius Malema is most likely a puppet of the English monarchy, and is pretending, strolling and straddling around the African continent, acting as if he is a revolutionary. We need to look deep into Julius Malema, because as we can see, Madiba, who we looked at as the person who liberated South Africa, is actually a Freemason, a puppet of these colonial satanists who are trying to colonize Africa, who are colonizing Africa. This is a disgrace to the human race. Look at him. Listen to it. This is from South African News. This is Madiba Nelson Mandela, November 1st, 1996.
You have been invested with a special, historic, and happy occasion. It is my privilege to place around your neck the badge of knighthood and to cloak you with the mantle of our order.
Ladies and gentlemen, I can't watch that abomination any longer. Oh, brother Pluto Man on the comment section. Let's read what Pluto Man is telling us here. He's writing something interesting. Okay, Pluto Man is telling us this. Malema is just all talk. The guy is corrupt. I have lived in Cape Town. and most South Africans don't like him. Oh, Pluto Man is from South Africa. He's telling us something. You see, I suspected there was something wrong with this Julius Malema. Let's read another comment from Pluto. Thank you very much, Pluto Man. Let's read another comment by Pluto Man. Steve Biko and Hani were the real revolutionary. Madiba was a puppet of the apartheid regime. A suspect around the late 1970s is when he sold out and joined the non-violence campaign. Oh, Pluto Man is telling us something. I'm telling you something that we suspected. Okay, there's another one. Pluto Man doesn't stop there. The African CFA is controlled by the EU, France, and the rest of the countries' currencies are mostly controlled by the dollar. That is why Africa never progresses. Very true, very true. That's why I always said, okay, why are we pegging our currency on the US dollar? Okay, Africa is rich in gold. Why don't we go back to the gold standard? Why don't we back our money by gold that we can simply dig, okay, and mine from ourselves so we can all have our own currency, okay? Let the US peg their money on our currency, not us pegging our money on the worthless US dollars. US dollar was worth something until 1971 when Nixon moved away from the gold standard, okay? It used to be that the dollar was backed by gold, but no longer they don't have any reserve in the Federal Reserve. Actually, the Federal Reserve is a private bank, okay, owned by the colonialists. It's not a US bank, okay? It's a private bank owned by the Rothschilds and the English monarchy, okay? Now, why does Africa need to peg its money, the currency, okay, to the worthless dollar? You see now, as we speak right now, the BRIC nation are dumping the US dollar because it is worthless. It is not backed by nothing, okay? And they want to start their own currency that will be backed by something. I've been telling you. Now, Julius Malema, back to Julius Malema. Julius Malema need to answer this. Did he receive the money from the Queen of England? Okay, because this man, I used to think that he's actually a revolutionary. But I asked myself, of all the revolutionaries that I know, okay, they never make it so far. And if they are alive, they're always under heavy challenges, just like Ibrahim Traore in Burkina Faso, like the king, the leader of Mali, like the leader of what's the other country, the second country, the third country. Okay, it is Mali, Burkina Faso, of the Sahel Treaty, Mali, Burkina Faso, and Niger. Okay, these three leaders, they are under heavy attack from the imperialists, from the French, from the US, from the EU. Okay, because they are taking control of their country's resources, and they're helping the country. But Julius Malema, you are a suspect. You came to Kenya and you spoke against our puppet. We know Ruto has been a puppet. We know Ruto is a colonial puppet. But you didn't have to come and disrespect us and speak ill of our president while in our land, okay? You should have told us that while you're in South Africa. So Julius Malema, I'm looking closely to you. Are you a revolutionary or are you a faker? Because most of your countrymen are fakers. The people that you're looking at are fakers, okay? I told you, Ramaphosa, when he was ANC, when he was Young Turk, he used to be a revolutionary. But look at Ramaphosa now. He's riddled with corruption, okay? He has shares in this big companies, this big companies that are actually extracting mineral from South Africa, okay, that are looting, raping the resources of Africa. Ramaphosa, they gave him some money. Now he's a billionaire, dollar billionaire because of that. He sold us out. There's no true, real grassroots movement in South Africa that can revolutionize the lives of the Black Africans, the minorities, not the minorities, but the majority, who are the Black people who are living in abject poverty. Nobody's speaking for them. Let me not say nobody's speaking for them, because there might be people who are revolutionaries who are fighting for them that I don't know of. But the famous ones, like Mr. Julius Malema, the fakers, okay, the Jacob Zumas that are riddled with corruption, who have sold the black population up. You see, that's what I'm talking about. Julius Malema, we are digging into your history. Pluto Man have told us here that you're a faker. You're a faker, Mr. Julius Malema. You know, I listened to I listened to Idi Amin. I was looking at one of the Idi Amin's interviews, and somebody told me something different. I listened to somebody. I forgot who he was. He was being interviewed about Idi Amin. Okay, while Idi Amin might have been a dictator, but he mentioned something very serious. He said the British government using, okay, Onkwoto Situ, when he died assassinated. Yeah, there you are right, Mr. Plutoman. Plutoman is dropping gems over here. Plutoman is telling us Onkwoto Sizwe died when they assassinated Hani. It is actually said that Chris Hani was more popular than Nelson Mandela. Anybody from South Africa, come in and tell me, prove me wrong. There's the link. If you want to link up, come into the studio. Prove me wrong. If I'm talking nonsense, prove me wrong. Chris Hani was said to be more popular than Nelson Mandela. He was actually they expected him to be the president once it was inevitable that the apartheid government was going to fall down. They actually looked at him as the person who was going to be the president. But guess what? The colonialists knew something and they took him out. They took Chris Hani out and propped up Madiba. They were preparing Madiba. Go read Madiba's book. Madiba was being prepared for that seat to give it a black face. But Chris Hani was said to be more popular within the Black Revolutionary movement, more than Madiba, okay? But Mandela was already compromised. Go read at his book when those, de Klerk and all those people from the oppressors, the apartheid government, I forgot the name, they were visiting him in jail and telling him he was making concessions in jail that when he becomes president, this is what he was supposed to do. He was supposed to make sure that the interest of the white apartheid racist government was safe. Okay, he sold out then. Okay, but in the original plan, Chris Hani was supposed to be the real president of the South African nation. And guess what? The UN, the United Nations, okay, and the US, they made sure that there was going to be no country, African country, that has nuclear power or nuclear weapons. Okay, remember, South Africa was asked to dismantle. When the apartheid government had power, they were developing nuclear power and nuclear weapons. Okay, but when it was apparent that Nelson Mandela was becoming they were going to prop him up, they made sure that South Africa had to dismantle their nuclear program. Just like Gaddafi. Gaddafi had nuclear know-how that was given to him by the Russians and the Iranians, okay? But before they took out Gaddafi, they used Museveni to go convince Gaddafi to get rid of his nuclear program. And immediately when he got rid of his nuclear program, they took him down, okay? They took off Gaddafi, okay? And remember, Gaddafi was the guy who was saying, let Africa have its own currency backed by gold, the Nero. We were going to have our own currency, so we don't have to pay our money to the US dollar. The US dollar that they actually it fluctuates every time. One day it's up, one day it's down, one day it's out, percent down, because the Federal Reserve, they kind of mess up with the interest rates, and it messes up the other people currencies that are paying the money on the dollar. Plutoman is going on. Plutoman is really the man, the MVP here. Plutoman is telling me Mandela was just the safest black option, just like Jomo Kenyatta, for white corporations to continue rule. And I agree with Plutoman. Plutoman is dropping gems here today, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades. Kenyatta was Jomo Kenyatta was a British agent. He was not just like a puppet. He was more than a puppet. Jomo Kenyatta was a British agent. It is said that he never actually served time in Lancaster. He was working. He was being trained by the British. Okay? So when he became the president, again, Pluto hits the nail on the head when they brought him up and propped him up as the first president. Okay? He made it safe. The land that the British took from Kenya. Okay? The atrocities that they committed against Mau Mau never was compensated under Kenyatta. Okay, Kenyatta made sure that the British interests, okay, was safe, okay? Kenyatta was an agent of the British government. It is known, okay? And is the richest family to this day. They control most businesses. Half of actually, the Kenyatas has more money than the Kenya, the nation. That's how bad these people are. That's how evil they are. I'm telling you, who are the real revolutionaries? Remember, the real revolutionaries in Kenya was Gama Pinto. Do you know who Gama Pinto is? I will explain to you for most of you Kenyans who might not know this. Gama Pinto is the one who actually he inspired Malcolm X when they met. He inspired Malcolm X. Okay, he met with Malcolm X and told him, "Hey, listen, this struggle is bigger than just in US. The struggle for freedom." Okay, and when after Malcolm X met Gama Pinto, he came back and he was like, "Oh my goodness, the world out there, there are people, freedom fighters everywhere. The racism, we're not just facing it in America. There are people in Africa who are also going through this." Tom Mboya, Gama Pinto, okay, among others, these are the real revolutionaries in Kenya that were assassinated. Tom Mboya and Gama Pinto were killed by the CIA, okay, through using Mr. Kenyatta under the watch of Jomo Kenyatta. Let's get back to the real revolutionaries in Africa. Museveni is a CIA agent. He was used by the US to take out, and the British to take out this whatever, what's his name, the guy from Uganda, I forgot it, Idi Amin. Okay, it is time for us to be very careful. If you want to, let me help you. If you want to identify the real revolutionary in Africa, look at how they live, look at their lifestyle. They're usually not safe. Okay, they're usually safe a lot. First of all, they always, number one thing, what a true revolutionary does when they take power is to make sure that their country, okay, secures their resources. That's number one. And naturally, by doing that, they'll be at odds with the imperialists. They'll be naturally at odds with the imperialists, because you'll start hearing things like, "Oh, we have to sanction those people because he's a terrorist. He's human rights violation. Is violating a lot of human rights violation." And so they start these nonsensical charges, propped up charges. That's the number one way to identify a true revolutionary. They always make sure that they take control of the resources to benefit their own people, their own citizens, not to benefit themselves. Yes, Mugabe was a revolutionary. Let's not get it twisted. Even though he had his problems, he was looting from the public coffers. But Mugabe was a true revolutionary. I know my brothers and sisters who are from the opposition side might differ, and you're free to come here and tell me otherwise. Because remember, Zimbabwe went under sanctions because they reclaimed the land that the British occupied in Zimbabwe. Okay, and they wanted control of the copper mines, okay, the gold mines in Zimbabwe. Okay, so that was started by what's Cecil Rhodes or whatever. Remember, it was called Rhode Island. They renamed it Zimbabwe thanks to Mugabe. So Mugabe, even though he was, you can say he was a dictator, he killed a lot of people, the opposition, whatever, and some of it is propaganda, some of it might be true. Any Zimbabweans get in, but he always fought for the interest of the people. He's a true revolutionary, okay? So let's not get it twisted. I was so disappointed when I saw that video by Mandela, okay? When I found out that this man was a Freemason, was a satanist, okay? Was being used by the apartheid guys. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies and comrades, this session I just wanted to talk to identify the real revolutionaries in Africa. So far, we have 3 of them. The leader of, oh my goodness, I'm losing my my connection here, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends. Maybe I'm getting attacked. Maybe I'm getting attacked today because I'm talking about something that most people might not like to hear. In Kenya, okay, we have our president. He's a puppet. Ruto is a puppet. We know that. Ruto is a puppet. The member of the oppositions, all of them, they are puppets because they are one. Uhuru Kenyatta, the son of Jomo Kenyatta, the agent, is the one that we are considering now is the opposition. Him and Raila Odinga. Raila Odinga, we know he has been in the pockets of the CIA since the late 90s. Okay, that's why you see his what's that, Chris whatever, that a CIA guy that usually comes to Kenya is his handler. Okay, that's what I'm telling you. Kenya, we are doomed. Our opposition and the government is all part of the British government. Those are proxies. They've been put there. That's why you see. I hear now Kenyans are complaining about the carbon credits. Okay, the law that they passed about carbon credits, where if they feel that you're polluting the whatever, they take you out. They charge you. Okay, who brought that in Kenya? John Kerry. And who passed it? It passed under the last regime. Okay, they pass it now. They're charging people. They will make you not to use your land because of this nonsense about carbon credit. Who brought in the GMOs? Okay, it started under Kibaki. It continued under Uhuru Kenyatta. It is continued now. Ruto came and told us, this colonial puppet, told us in an interview that he's a doctor. He's a PhD in agriculture. And he dared say something so blasphemous that I couldn't believe it with my own ears. He said that GMOs are good for human consumption. Who in their right mind can say that GMOs, genetically modified organisms, are good for human consumption? That's when I knew Ruto was a colonial puppet, a hopeless, useless leader, just like Uhuru Kenyatta. Actually, that title, Uhuru Kenyatta, let me tell you something for my brothers and sisters who are from other countries. Uhuru Kenyatta, the son of Jomo Kenyatta, is the most useless president in the history of humanity. Okay? So no matter how you think your president is useless, he cannot outdo Uhuru Kenyatta, Uhuru Muigai Kenyatta. That's the most useless president in the history of humanity. He's the one who brought all. But this current president is continuing his legacy. He's continuing his legacy. So anyway, ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, I don't want to stay here long. It's been almost 30 minutes. If you have something to say, if you want to go to this, get into the studio and correct me, get in. I told you, Julius Malema is a suspect. He's a corrupt man. He's been receiving money from the Queen of England. How can you receive the money from the Queen of England and claim that you're against imperialists? I cannot receive money from the oppressor and claim to be armed against the oppressor. Okay? You're a faker. Julius Malema, log in if you're there. If you watch this, tag Julius Malema. If you're on X or you're on Twitter, tag Julius Malema. He can come to this program. I will debate him point by point. Let's go head to head. Let's see how you are, if you're a real revolutionary. Because you've been conning people for a long time. There's a lot of conmanship in African leadership, Black Africanship. But you know, there's a new wave that's coming. And thank God, Russia is... Listen, I always say this. Putin has always stood up with the Black revolutionary movement in Africa. Putin, in his 70s, when he was in the KGB, he was training people in Angola. He was training people he helped train on Nkotosizwe. He helped train the revolutionary movement in Angola, okay? He helped train with the Ethiopians, okay? He always helped in Zimbabwe too, okay? And he's the same guy right now who's helping Ibrahim Traore, Niger, and Mali to take over the power. Of course, it's a power move because he's trying to weaken France, because he knows France only gets its resources and power and money by raping the resources of Burkina Faso, of the Francophone nations, the French colonized countries. But now, by liberating these countries, he's weakening France, because now France are having blackouts because they no longer have the free uranium that they were extracting from Burkina Faso, because Burkina Faso said, we are not going to let you guys do this anymore. We are a free nation. And there's a wave that's coming now. There's a new wave that's coming now that's going to liberate Africa. But ladies and gentlemen, brothers and sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, I will stop here. It's been 30 minutes. If you have any comment, please comment in the comment section. If you don't know who I am, follow me. My name is Kenya Revolutionary on X, Kenya Revolutionary, or find me on YouTube, type Kenya Revolutionary, subscribe, share, like, and comment under the section there, comment section, and I will see your comment and I reply. Ladies and gentlemen, brothers, sisters, friends, enemies, and comrades, it's been a while. It's been a pleasure. I'll talk to you guys later. Peace and rebel salute to all true revolutionaries that are out there. Thank you very much. Peace.